I've come to discover that if you really want to be at the top of your field, you have to keep yourself on your toes. You have to learn what you need to learn. You have to improve what you already know, because every day there is a new designer coming up, there is a new trend, there is some new technology. And believe me, people buy more than the physical product when they buy from you. What's up, guys, and welcome to my channel. Whether you're old or you are new, you're most definitely welcome on here. My name is Priscilla. I'm a Nigerian women's wear designer based in London, and in this video I'm going to be sharing a few things that I have learned since I have been working to build my business and build my brand. I put up a poll on my community page with like 4 topics, and this particular topic got the most votes, so it means you guys are actually interested in finding out how to start your business, the things you should consider, tips, as well as some necessary points that you should really keep in mind when you are trying to build a business long term. If you'd like to find out some things I've learned, then keep watching. Education and learning is a very important sort of step in keeping up with the evolution of our modern day and age. The first thing I would say is, if you're in the design industry, especially fashion, internships are so valuable. You may not get paid, you may not really get money for it, but the experience you will get at internships, believe me, it's so much more valuable than the $750 or the $650 per hour that you would ask for. And from these internships I've done, I've learned practical field experience that you will not learn in school. You probably will not learn when you're on your own, but when you actually interact with your boss, you interact with clients, you interact with fabrics, you see what it actually takes to create a collection, how to properly, create a spec sheet, all of these sort of tiny things that in school they would mention it too, but when you actually go into internships, you see how they work and why they are important. So the second thing when it comes to education, I would say, is to take classes. In the last 1 year, I've literally become a sponge of information. I go to master classes, events, anything about business and strategy and marketing. Like, sign me up. I don't even mind paying money for it, because I've come to discover that if you really want to be at the top of your field, you have to keep yourself on your toes. You have to learn what you need to learn. You have to improve what you already know, because every day there is a new designer coming up, there is a new trend, there is some new technology. I mean, IGTV wasn't even here 6 months ago, but it's here. So you have to constantly improve yourself to be able to be the best in whatever you do. So if you physically cannot attend classes or workshops, I would suggest going digital, meaning learn online. The beautiful thing about online sort of learning interfaces is they will always be there, and the time differences doesn't really affect you. Whether you're in Nigeria, whether you're in America, whether you're here in London, it is online and you can go there whenever you're ready to learn. So I found a website recently called Skillshare, and they are the kind sponsors of this video. Skillshare is an online learning community that is based in the US. It was founded in about 2010, and they have thousands of videos covering categories such as technology, business, lifestyle, and creative. I've already joined because I like to learn and I like good stuff. If you become a premium member by clicking the link in the description box, you get 2 months of a free premium membership, and this is only available to the first 500 people. So 2 classes that I found there recently that I thought were like so good was the first one by Peggy Dean, and she talked about pricing your product. Some of you have actually asked me, oh, how do you price your dresses? How do you come up with the final price of your product? And she talked about the hourly rate base. So if you know a dress is going to take you 10 hours to make, you decide on your hourly rates times 10 hours, then you add fabric, zip, thread, the transport to go to the market to get all of these supplies, and then you come up with an estimate to tell your customer. I like to actually ask people for deposits, which is like around 30 to 50%, because that makes them to commit to the process of going ahead with the project. Second video I found on there that I thought was really useful was by Jeff Staples, and he talks about the difference between a brand and and a business. What branding is when you tell a story more than selling a product. So a brand in a sense is sort of like a lifestyle. It's more than a pen or a stapler or whatever product you are selling. A business is essentially just buying and selling. So you as a person, or you and your partner, have to really decide on what you want your brand or what you want your business to stand for. You could decide to become a sustainable brand, meaning all of your fabrics, all of your marketing, your models, how you sort of market your product has to be sustainable. For one, I like to think that the Kim Dave brand is one that supports careful garment creation, and I sort of pass that across by creating detailed sewing tutorials, because everybody cannot learn really quickly. So when you have a tutorial that is really detailed and breaks the entire process of garment creation from pattern making up until the end, then it makes it for someone watching to recreate that tutorial. The second thing I like to think my brand is sort of in connection with is the use of really vibrant prints. I love color, and I like to be able to experiment with fabrics and with colors using African textiles. So that is for my brand. That is the Kim Dave brand. You have to decide that for yourself, and what values, what messages do you want to be able to pass across with your product. And believe me, people buy more than the physical product when they buy from you. If you walk into a Gucci shop, for example, you are just buying a Gucci bag. You are buying the name Gucci. That's why it's so expensive. So you have to be able to create a lifestyle around your product which people will be able to connect with. And that was something that he really talked about in the video, and I thought was really, really useful. The second thing, or the second point I would really like to emphasize on, is the importance of research. So you found the product or the service that you think you can build a business on, whether it be physical or not. I say doing research on the success or the marketability of that product is actually important. You want to see if there's actually a market existing there, who your competitors are. You want to make a business plan.
Because I did not have a business plan for the longest time, and I don't know why.
But when you do all of these research and gather materials, it helps you to market the product better, because through research you're going to find out who your customer is, what their lifestyle is, what they like to do. And from all of these points, for example, if you are making a collection, maybe say it's a luxury collection, and you know your client is someone who likes the finer things of life, you want to work with fabrics that are a bit nicer to touch, that look nicer, that have that more luxurious feel, because that is for your target market. You don't have to like it, your customer has to like it, because they're going to be the ones consuming your product. I believe having a customer profile is actually really important, and this is something that right from when I was in fashion school, they always made us do customer profiles. And what this is you have this fictional character that would be the perfect person to consume your products. So you could come up with a false name, a false age, where she works, where she lives, what does she like to do in her spare time, what kind of sport does she like, what is she like, is she vegetarian, is she into Pilates? Because when you know all of these tiny details, it helps you to tailor your product better to fit your consumer. So someone who is into the vegan lifestyle, you want to be able to create products that are cruelty free, because that would attract them more. Someone who is quite bubbly, who is outgoing, who likes to go clubbing, you want to include or incorporate garments in your collection that suits that lifestyle. So having a customer profile is really important, and it's one of the things that you can find out when you do research, whether before you start your business or as you're developing your business. Having a customer profile is so important. Now let's talk about money. Money is one of those topics that for one, I'm not very comfortable talking about. It just makes me uncomfortable, but you have to be willing to look at money from a realistic point of view. When I say money, I'm not just talking about like the pound note. I'm talking about sort of where you want your brand to sit in terms of market level. So do you want your brand to be more affordable? Do you want it to be mid-market? Do you want to have a luxury sort of brand, or do you want to become like super designer or like couture? You sort of have to decide that from the beginning, and the market level you decide to place yourself would affect so many things across the board. So you, for one, as a designer or as a business owner, you have to decide that on your own. I think this particular category of the video is more inclined towards fashion design based businesses, whether you're making the clothes yourself or whether you're having a seamstress or a designer make them for you and you're just overseeing the design process. You really have to consider where you want your brand to sit in terms of market level. So once you've decided where you want your brand to sit, where are you actually going to get the money from? Are you going to use your own personal savings? Are you going to get money from your family and friends? Are you going to get investors? Are you going to get a loan? But if you're already in and you're looking to get financing, I suggest you speak to someone in the bank or someone who you know has acquired funding recently, so they tell you about their experiences and how best to get money to start or sustain your business. The importance of marketing, so important, especially in today's digital age where everything can be gotten online. So you have to decide if you want to go with Facebook ads, if you want to go with influencer marketing, if you want to go traditional with print. Whatever you decide has to sort of fit with your brand identity. And I think online now, sort of having social media really important, because when people want to shop, they usually go online. That's the first place, and maybe if they don't find success there, then they go in the shops and try on dresses and so on. But I think having social media in this day and age, man, whether you don't like it, it has come to the point where you kind of have to find what works for your brand and stick with that. So if your target audience, for example, is, I don't know, younger girls who are really into Snapchatting, who are really into tweeting, Instagram and Insta stories and things like that, you want to be able to plug into that market that are already very active on those platforms. With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I would actually like to know what stage you are right now. If you're a business owner, are you just starting out? Are you sort of in the place where you want to learn more to improve what you are doing? Are you a successful business owner with impressive turnovers and profits? Please share down below. I believe in sort of learning as a community. I think I'm at a point where I still consider myself new, because as a business I'm still pretty young. There are lots of things that could change tomorrow. I could decide to take this whole Kim Dave brand in a different direction, but I think I'm still learning, and I would love to learn from your stories in the comment section down below. Where do you see your business in the next 5 years? In the next 5 years, I think I would actually still like to be making videos, as weird as that might sound. In 5 years, I want to be able to have a clothing line. I'm speaking into the universe. The universe will listen. In 5 years time, I want to be able to have a clothing line of outerwear for women's wear, really cool pieces that you would wear and would make you feel like the best thing on the planet. In 5 years, as a business, I want to have had a team of people working with me, of women, men of all ages and races. I just think that would be really amazing, because it means I am able to give the opportunity to other people to do what they love. But where will you guys be in 5 years? I would love to know in the comment section down below. I am excited to read all of the things that you have to say. But with that being said, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Check out Skillshare down below. The link would be there, available to click through. And until my next video, have a good morning, afternoon and evening wherever you are. Bye.